climb normal by pressing the climb button at the TRP or the MCP thrust button. Check Climb Norm displayed in green in the autothrottle field at the FMA. After flap retraction, any other vertical mode may be selected. Here we use vertical speed mode to climb to the missed approach altitude. In this chapter, we are dealing with wind shears detected by the FGS. Generally, wind shear detection and recovery guidance is armed from 5 seconds after liftoff and below 2,000 feet radio altitude. We are now performing a standard takeoff with a subsequent wind shear encounter at low height. The system has detected a decreasing performance wind shear. This is indicated by a red wind shear light left of the PFDs and an oral warning consisting of wind shear, wind shear, wind shear. The FD would now appear automatically if it had not been selected. As you see at the FMA, there are some automatic mode changes. The FD vertical mode changes to takeoff wind shear, TOWS. Lateral mode remains track, TRK, but maximum bank is now 5 degrees during decreasing performance wind shears instead of 10 degrees, the normal limit in track mode. Thrust mode changes to wind shear max. Autothrottle in connection with FADEC controls the engines to 97% N1 or 649 degrees EGT. Exceedance of N1 ref is now acceptable. In takeoff wind shear, the FGS has a target flight path angle, FPA, and a limit on angle of attack, AOA. The target and limit depend on radio altitude. Target, FPA, is 3 degrees below 100 feet and decreases to 1 degree above 500 feet RA. Limit AOA above 500 feet RA is stick shaker angle of attack minus 5 degrees. It increases to 1 degree below the stick shaker angle of attack below 100 feet RA. TOWS recovery guidance will not exceed the displayed margin to stick shaker AOA, which is the same as the PLI. During a decreasing performance wind shear, the stick push is inhibited, except that above 300 feet RA with the AP disengaged, FD only, the stick push is delayed for 1 second rather than inhibited. Autopilot may be used above 350 feet RA and will provide recovery control in the same modes as the flight director. TOWS reverts to TO, and autothrottle WS max reverts to TO max when safe flying conditions are achieved. Or another valid vertical mode is entered. However, the procedure dictates to follow FGS recovery guidance until the system exits TOWS. With takeoff as the vertical mode, pitch is controlling speed again. Lateral mode remains track. The bank angle limit has risen to 10 degrees with autothrottle engaged in TO max. N1 ref is a thrust target with FADEC limiting EGT to a maximum of 632 degrees centigrade and N1 to 97%. During a standard go-around with FD or AP on, vertical mode being GA and wind shear detected by FGS, GAWS is automatically activated as in the takeoff case, which we had a look at before.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
Assume now the aircraft being at a radio altitude below 2,000 feet. Autothrottle, autopilot, and flight directors are all off. We are more than 3 minutes in the air at the raw data state. The FGS detects a wind shear indicated by illumination of both red wind shear annunciators.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
The FGS is in the go-around mode enabled state. There is no automatic activation of recovery guidance until a toga button is pressed. Or 3 thrust levers pushed fully forward. The FDs are automatically displayed with GAWS as vertical and TRK as lateral mode.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
WS max is the FGS thrust target, but as autothrottle is off, it is the pilot's responsibility to advance the thrust levers fully forward. Again, the FADEC limits the engines to 649 degrees Celsius, 97% N1. With GAWS as vertical mode, the FGS has the same targets, FPAs, and AOA limits as in TOWS. Target FPA is 3 degrees below 100 feet and decreases to 1 degree above 500 feet RA with a limit AOA above 500 feet RA of stick shaker angle of attack minus 5 degrees, increasing to 1 degree below the stick shaker angle of attack below 100 feet RA. During an increasing performance wind shear, new lateral modes can be selected without affecting GAWS or TOWS as vertical mode. Either when safe flying conditions are achieved or another valid vertical mode is selected, wind shear recovery guidance is terminated. The FDs are biased out of view if they were previously off, and thrust mode reverts to GA max.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
If autothrottle is off, the pilot has to retard the thrust levers by help of the FADEC trim arrows to avoid overboosting N1 ref. Wind shear approach speed control is only through the use of autothrottle. WS approach speed control is provided if wind shear is detected and the autothrottle is engaged in speed mode, and neither the AP nor the FD is engaged in the TOWS or GAWS modes. Again, TOWS or GAWS are not engaged automatically. For a decreasing performance wind shear like here, the autothrottle aims to control IAS to VCEL, but stays within the limits of Vmin plus 15 knots and the limit for the configuration minus 5 knots. Pressing a toga button is the first memory action for a wind shear encounter and activates GAWS, TRK, and WS max thrust rating from WS approach speed control. As described before, GAWS offers full wind shear recovery guidance as TOWS by flying the aircraft close to stick shake out of the wind shear hazard. It is important to emphasize that in wind shear approach speed control, the FGS maintains the approach path and the pilot has to initiate recovery. For you as pilot, the Mode Control Panel, MCP, is the primary instrument to make manual mode changes and to enter navigational data. Here you see how the Flight Mode Annunciator FMA is organized.